So technique number one is something that we call fogging. Fogging, as the name suggests, when you're using fogging as a technique to become assertive, or using assertive communication, you become like the fog. So what does the fog do? A fog is there, but it doesn't offer any resistance, or at least it doesn't seem to offer any resistance. So you become exactly like the fog. Let us say somebody is saying something to you which has a potential for conflict. When you use fogging, the conflict gets dissipated completely. Let's take an example so it becomes clearer. Let's say somebody tells me, Jagmohan, you got a very funny name. Now, typically, what would I do if somebody were to say that? I would get a little irritated, might get a little reactive, and I might say something like, well, have you seen your name? I mean, that's even funnier. Or who are you to talk about my name? It could be anything. And then, that person says something else, and that's how you get into a conflict. But when I'm using fogging, what do? So let's say you say, well, Jagmohan, you got a really funny name. And I'd say, well, yes, a lot of people do think so. Or, yes, there are some people who might feel that. Now, what do you say to that? Well, you probably nod your head and say, well, yes, that's the case. Either way, the conflict gets diffused there. Let's take another example. Let's say you find my specs funny, or you don't find them funny, but you just want to needle me, get under my skin. And you say, well, Jagmohan, you got really funny looking specs. And I say, well, yes, it's quite possible that they look funny. Now, what do you say to that? Or I could say, well, some people do find it funny. Or I could say, well, yes, I find it funny at times myself. What do you say to that? I'm, in a sense, more or less agreeing to what you're saying, or I'm at least agreeing to the possibility that it might be true. Now, when I agree to the possibility that what you're saying could be true, I, in a sense, take the dynamite out of your, explosive. And therefore, you have nothing left to explode. The conflict is diffused. Would I use the same technique where you're accusing me of murder? No. So if you say, well, Jagmohan, I think you murdered so and so, I'm not going to say, well, yes, there is a possibility that I might have done it. Or yes, people might feel that I could have done it. No, because that's a much more serious offense. So situations like those, you would not use fogging. But look, it's not every day that somebody accuses you of murder or, something as big as that. Usually the things that cause conflicts are smaller things, more minor items. And that actually leads to more instances of conflict and aggression. So all I'm saying is, for those cases, you could use fogging as a technique.